Well, now to a subject many mothers will understand. It's called mommy guilt. It's an age-old self-blame game that has moms questioning the parenting decisions that they make. And our next guest says it's time to let go of the mommy guilt. And she explains just how to do that in her latest book. And we are happy to welcome author Lorelei Kraft along with two local moms, Stacy Stratton and Jamie Nolan, to tell us more. Thank you all. Good morning, ladies. Thank you so much for joining us. If you're a mom, you've got mommy guilt. Doesn't matter what you do and doesn't matter what age you are.
I know. I speak all over the country, and after the speeches, the women come up to me in the hall and say, how could you do everything you did as a single mom raising two kids? And then they tell me about the guilt that they feel. And I had to dump my guilt very early, or I never would have been able to do the things that I do. So
How is it that you could do that? Because, you know, our society and media tells you day in and day out, if you're a mom, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to make sure that your kids look, you know. So tell me, what's the secret to dumping the guilt?
Well, that's why I wrote the book, because I knew that wouldn't work for me. And then the other thing that I saw out there was that parents were being inundated with what I call psychobabble. Be your child's friend. And you can't be your child's friend. You have to be their parent, and the friendship will come later. And in the book, I have a lot of little notes and letters from my kids as they grew up, talking about, you know, how we learned to negotiate and how we learned to do all these things. And a lot of it is just realizing what's important. If dusting your house isn't the top priority in your life, so what? You know, my furniture went from mahogany to blonde at some point in my life.
I get it totally.
Yes.
I love you. You see, your key number one, good parenting begins with core values.
Yes.
And so, you know, and again, you're holding your child and going, oh, this child is going to get all of my core values. And then, like, almost the first words out of the mouth are kind of like, things just pop out of your mouth. Like, I thought I'd never say that around my child.
Yes.
Do that.
I had that happen. My mother's voice would come out of the things that I said that I'd never say. But I think it's just a really good, practical, common sense book on what's important in life and what's not. And it helps people and moms get over feeling like they have to be this perfect person, you know. I had my candle business in the little building right next door to my house, and I'd be so busy sometimes I'd forget about supper, and I'd go, oh my God, it's 5 o'clock, the kids are home, and I'd run in the house and they would have had frozen pizza already. And I felt really bad until my kids said to me, don't worry, Mom, it's got all 4 food groups.
Exactly.
And so that made it a little bit easier for me. You know, it was deciding what's really important.
Well, now, you two ladies are joining us as well, so you both have a copy of the book in your hand. So tell us how this book is impacting your lives as well. Is it making it easy? Are you able to let go of your mommy guilt?
I think that when I read the book, it was just a huge relief for me because, you know, so many things resonated with me, like the don't sweat the small stuff and the, you know, be a parent, not a friend. And so, you know, a lot of those things said, it's okay, you know, pick your battles and, you know, and on the don't sweat the, or on the be a parent, not a friend, it's okay to set those boundaries and stick to them. You don't always have to be, you know, the #1 mom friend. So.
And did you find that as well?
Yeah, and I have to say that this book just made me laugh and cry a few times because there was so much that resonated with me with raising children and being a working mom. And one of the things that I really appreciated out of it was letting your children become independent. And my 2-year-old right now has this thing about she has to wear different colored socks every day, and she'll decide, I want to wear a pink sock and a purple sock, and she'll put them on. And at first I'm like, no, you have to go in the same colored socks. And I thought, you know what, she's learning independence, and sort of Lorelei really reiterated that in her book, and so it really helped a lot to just let that go and say, you know what, she's 3, she's exerting her independence, that's great that she's starting that at a young age.
Now, is this book geared towards young moms or moms of all ages?
Through teenagers, toddlers to teens, it's all the way through. And it has a lot of information in there. You know, you had a segment earlier about children spending money and their parents overspending and things like that. And I have some really good information in there about how I handle things with my children. And I taught them, because you can't just expect them to make decisions all of a sudden at 14 if you haven't let them make decisions from the time they were little. And so from the time they were little, I would say, okay, now we can go to this well-known department store and you can spend $30 on your blouse. Or I would take them to Goodwill and say, now see what you can get here for $30, and you choose. I let them choose. They could have the one, or they could have, 20 or 30.
Great
And
advice.
so by allowing them to make these little decisions as they grew, it really made a difference.
Well, thank you so much for sharing it. It's like the tip of the iceberg. We could go do an entire program on this and then some.
Yes.
So thank you so much for starting to share your tips with us, and for ladies for joining us and kind of sharing how this book is impacting you as well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Well, you can find Lorelei Kraft's book, Letting Go of Mommy Guilt, in bookstores everywhere.